All right, so our food has made its way into our stomach. And remember, we had said that the food, once you have mixed it with salivary secretions, we had referred to it as a bolus. And that bolus was this sort of mucus-filled blob of food with some digestive enzymes starting chemical digestion. And that had to be hold together enough to make its way through the esophagus into the stomach. Now, once it entered into the stomach, we're going to talk about the mixing actions of the stomach. And that's where the stomach is the muscles of the stomach are going to be mushing that food together with the digestive enzymes, with the gastric juices that are present in the stomach. And so we no longer have a bolus. The bolus was only important to get it to your stomach. Once you get to your stomach, we'd said we have these gastric juices, and the gastric juices are very acidic. So we have a different terminology. We call the food at this point acidic chyme. And so the stomach, in order for this bag, the stomach to mix and churn this food with the digestive enzymes, in order for it to do this, you have to have closures at either end, right? So we have sphincter muscles at the top and at the bottom of the stomach. At the top, we have the cardiac sphincter, and this is at the esophagus. And then at the bottom of the stomach, we have the pyloric sphincter, and this is at the duodenum. That's the first part of the small intestine. And we had said we have the mixing actions of the stomach that are going to be mixing this food together, kind of like a washing machine. In my mind, that's the analogy that I have. And this material that's there, it's starting to digest, right? And it's very low in pH 2. And this is going to be, as this mixing is going on, a small amount at a time, about 15 milliliters at a time, are going to be pushed past the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum. And that's where we're going to then, we'll be talking about what happens in the small intestine. But before we do that, we have a picture of a pumpkin. It's kind of a gross picture of a pumpkin, you might see. And it's a way of showing vomit without it even being so gross you couldn't see it. But anyway, so there is vomiting. So sometimes, I'm sure we've all thrown up. And you might wonder, we know you get sick. That's why you do it, right? But it's because whatever you've eaten, your body is saying, uh-oh, there's something wrong with this. This is dangerous to me. I need to get rid of it. And so you vomit, and that literally is just kicking this stuff the opposite direction, kicking it from your stomach up and out. That is vomiting. And I guess we have, if you want to get really technical about it, if you have a really severe vomiting, we're going to call it retching. And that's where it involves thoracic compressions. Well, every time I've ever vomited has been a retch, I guess, because it always is so violent, no one wants to even think about it. So anyway, we have vomiting, and so the reason for vomiting is your body, at least, is thinking, because of an irritation or some other signal that it needs to get rid of what you've eaten. Okay, so we're going to move on to the small intestine. But before, you might notice on the next slide, it says the pancreas. Well, the pancreas is located just below the stomach. And in the past, we've talked about it secreting hormones, somatostatin, insulin, and I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, the opposite of insulin, I'll think of it here in 2 seconds. But anyway, the pancreas is an endocrine organ, but it's also what they call an exocrine organ. And that's where it secretes enzymes into the small intestine there at the duodenum. Anyway, it drives me crazy when I blank on a term. Insulin and glucagon. Anyway, doesn't matter for right now.